How to drive sales in a retail store. By the end of this video, you're going to know there are several markers to be brilliant on the basics, what you can do to change that, and more importantly, feel that hope that being an entrepreneur always gives, which is I found the secret. So you're probably wondering, well, how do I turn those browsers into buyers? Well, I'm going to cover that here because ultimately when someone walks in the door, they've raised their hand, I'm interested in what you're selling, and if you don't see that hand, they're walking out with an empty shopping bag. So let's get to it. So you're looking to grow your sales. Did you know that data is the one place most entrepreneurs forget? I'm going to cover that today. I'm going to give you several keys to be able to talk to those customers in a new way, and more importantly, give you a new handle on using video in particular to grow your sales that you might have been a little afraid of, but always works. You know what I hate when I walk into a store? Plastered with sale tags. You've gone into like a drugstore lately and they have 1,000 of those little yellow tags over everything, and you know what that draws my attention to is, holy gosh, they can't sell anything in here. That's the same for you. So don't put your cheapest merchandise or your last week's, last year's leftovers at the front, big sales, 60% off. Basic retail training, sale merch to the back. Now, even worse, if you've got a sale that's 20% off and putting sale signs everywhere, 20% off, everything, then you're making the merchandise be second. And what you really want is to think, why does someone walk into a brick and mortar store? Here's the difference. So let's say I want to buy a car seat. I don't know, there must be 1 million of them, right? So you're online and you're on page 435 and you're going through like, well, I don't know. I still want to look the mauve with the green, not the green with the mauve. Okay, great. And then all of a sudden you see this, I don't know, turquoise jacket. Like, what the heck is that doing there? What if I'm in a store and I'm shopping for car seats and I look over and I say, I might look pretty dapper in that turquoise jacket. I do look dapper, to be honest. I'm just saying. And then you're open to buying that. That's why we go to a store. It's called discovery, right? We go online to buy. I know what I need. It's this one thing. Most people, especially younger people, know exactly what they need. And those needs are being captured online. But in-store is still 80% of your business. Hold it. Stop everything. What? 80%, yeah, is in a store, a brick and mortar store. Now, why do people come into a store? People want to find out what's new. That's our first thought. But also, they're open to discover. So here's the secret that I found for growing your retail sales. Look, in the old days, we might say, this is the hero. And I'm going to train you everything about why this is great. I'm going to go through and I'm going to say, oh, it has this, it has this, it has this, this. No one cares. What? No one cares? Of course they care. No, they don't care. Because we're living in a kryptonite world right now. What does that mean? There is all kinds of fear and negativity and oh my God, what's next? That's everywhere. And we are walking in saying, what do you got to put on my hero belt that I can feel like a hero? If you understand that, you're going to be able to understand, I need to make this person feel like they matter and learn the tools to build enough rapport to earn the right to sell the merchandise. Here's the other thing that's kind of sad. It's going to scare some of you. Only heroes sell to heroes. If I bought this Armani jacket, I expect someone who can know the brand and talk about it and be able to converse with me. I don't want someone down here who is like, yeah, our suits are over there. I don't want someone here, yeah, I look amazing in it. I'm this. No, it's equal. And if you understand that, then you're going to see that that is the key that most retailers are missing right now. They are struggling to put everything on sale, punish margins, offer free shipping, free returns, which is a nightmare. Retail was never designed to go backwards. It's designed manufacturing to warehouse to you. That's what it's designed to do, right? And along with that, when I come into a store, I'm coming in because maybe I saw those Page jeans and I wonder how do they fit? And so I want to try it on, I want to feel it. And you know, a lot of us in brick and mortar retailer, we say, oh, that's the only reason they come in. No, I come in to meet a human being, to earn the right to sell the product. And the way you do that is in the fitting room. Now, if you are waiting on guys, let me just tell you, all we care about is let me get in and out and make it easy for me. So if you find this jacket for me and you run around and get the shirt while I'm half naked in the fitting room and throw it over, and even when I say, oh, that's all right, I've got shirts, like, just try it on. I'll try it on. And the jeans, you say, you know, this comes in 5 colors. You probably want a dark, a light, and you probably want something for whatever season you're watching this in. That's how you build the sale. To build the sale, to understand what are they looking for. You know, I sold a great pair of ostrich boots to a woman when I was selling cowboy clothes. And actually, it was another one of my employees' sales. And now these boots have a white top to them, and the blue is a baby blue. They were amazing Tony Lamas, probably like $800. And she's walking around, the guy can't close the sale. And I just walked over and I go, hey, it looks like you're really interested in these boots. She goes, I know, but I mean, the color is so specific. I don't think I would wear it very much. And I said, and I'm sure you don't have a dress at home that you don't wear very much. She goes, you're an idiot, I'll take them. In fact, I'll wear them out. I said, okay. That's what it takes, hero meeting hero. Because I know she wanted to buy them, right? You have to know those buying signs. If you just stay with me and watch more of my videos, you're gonna understand what took me 30 years to learn in just a short period of time. And if you want to get even better about it, you'll check out SalesRX, my online retail sales training program, because really knowing doesn't equal doing, right? You're hearing all of this, but let's be honest. You could be watching a beer by the pool right now and be kind of like tuning out. I want you to be zoned in. If you want to make money, don't tell me it's Amazon's fault. Don't tell me it's somebody else. You didn't have good parents. You didn't have. I didn't have great parents either, but you know what? At the end of the day, we are about as successful as we make our minds up to be. Now let's continue. And another thing is, what are you doing in your windows? Every store has store windows. Oh, you know, we have Jane, she likes to do them. Well, lovely Jane, do you understand how to make a window? Well, I just really like to experiment. I do those crazy things. Like, do you think Abercrombie does crazy things? No. Do you think Lululemon goes, what the heck, just throw it in the window? No, no. Loser stores say, what the hell, put it in the window. So here's a quick key, what do? Easy tip for this. Take a little Post-it note, and I want you to go outside your window, well, your store window, right? And I want you to grab it, and I want you to, right where your eye is, I want you to put it right on your window. Put that Post-it note. Go back in the window. Sometimes that's going to be really high, sometimes that might be lower. That's the focal point. That's where the best and brightest item you want to sell goes. So if you're a, I don't know, kitchen store, that's where the $500 gold Mixmaster is. And around it might be everything to make, let's say it's Halloween. Maybe you're going to make a Halloween pie. I don't know, but you get the idea, right? Because I want you to buy the mixer. It's clear. It's right where I want you to do, and a few things around it that are a little bit lower levels, and that's it. And then make sure I can see into your store. Why do we want to see into your store? Because people attract people. One of the hardest things is when no one's in your store and your employees are hanging at the counter. So dead, so dead. Ugh, hate this. Hi, let me know if you have any questions. And we wonder, why aren't they selling? You realize that there's no excitement, there's no hero selling to heroes here, kids. There's no one here with me. But in that window, when I see other people, they'll attract other people. So that's why part of what's going to help you is understanding your crew should always be moving through the store. If I had my way, I would not have a comfy chair behind the counter. I would have something that didn't feel good on my soles of my shoes. I would say bed of nails, but someone's going to comment on that. I can't believe you said that. But it's not that. I don't want it to be comfortable to hide. No hero hides unless you're Batman, and that's a whole nother story which we're not going to go into right here. I want you to be superheroes. I want you to be Superman, Superwoman, Supergirl, whatever it takes. But your goal is, I'm driving the show, I know why I'm doing anything, and that starts with your windows. Now let's talk about inside. So the other thing we have to think about is what's going on in that store. I told you about the heroes selling to other heroes, right? But that's going to take a lot. Well, you know, Bob, I don't really like training. I like them. Everybody's different. That's great. Everybody's different. That means, imagine being the Dodgers or the Yankees. Everybody's different. Some want to hit the ball out. Some want to hit it into the stands. That's the same idea. Because what you've probably done is you front-ended who you hire and said, oh, they work for this company, or they work for this company. They're already trained. You don't know that, and they're no longer working for that company. Maybe they never learned that. Maybe they aren't trainable. I remember I was working with a coffee franchise, and we had our training. It took 2 weeks. And this woman came with her manager, and she was all big on this manager who came from Starbucks. She's going to be able to do everything for us. And I was like, I don't know. She's pretty stuck in the weeds. And so they go to open. 3 months later, our Go Live trainer goes out there to see how it's doing. And the owner is there alone. Says, what happened to Vicky? Oh, yeah, when we were setting up the store, and I said, no, Vicky, you're making the lattes wrong. We make it like this, it's a grind. She goes, I know, but Starbucks is better. We both know that. And I said, brilliant. That's what we're talking about. Now, would they say that to you or they don't? If you aren't up here at all levels, you're not training your crew, you're not holding them accountable. I've got an online retail sales training program called SalesRX, and one of the big features is we go through and we have testing that can come to your mailbox every month, every week, every day, and you know exactly what they're doing. Oh, but we've got videos, Bob. How do you know they watched them? How do you know they understood it? We actually have AI being able to role play with them to make sure that they talk to the computer. I know, just like Star Trek. So they can, we know that they know it, and then when they come onto the floor, is it a will or skill issue? I know that they've been trained, I know the skill, or is it a will issue? I was working with a young woman in a toy store one time, had, 20 people around me, and all they had to do was walk up to a customer and say, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, right? So I'm working the right, it's going great. And this one woman comes up, and she just comes up to me in my face, she goes, I can't do that. It's like, wow. I said, can't or won't? She goes, what's the difference? I said, well, I know you can say the words, you just won't, because I'm asking you to. At that point, I just turned to the owner, it was kind of like a, yeah. And that person didn't work there anymore. You have to be really surgically precise who stays with me and who doesn't. And if you aren't, you are going to settle for the dregs. And then you're going to tell everybody, they're all on Amazon. Everyone's on. I work with people, they all go on Amazon. Trust me, if they went on Amazon, it's because I hated the experience. Not unlike go into a drugstore. I've said that in a few other videos you might have seen. Everything's locked up. You've just taught me you don't want my business. I get it. There's theft, there's other things. But you made it hard. You've added friction. How many times have you done that with your crew? You've made it hard. Oh, that sale ended yesterday. I can't give you that discount. If you're really looking to be a great retail store owner or manager, it's tough because you get pulled in a lot of different ways. And I'm just saying that if you really want to grow your sales, you are going to realize that it's going to be about the people first. Quick story. I used to work in cowboy clothes. You can picture me with my cowboy clothes in the 80s. I got the #1 increase in sales, South Coast Plaza, #1 mall in the world. At a meeting a couple years later, the owner says, what's a company's greatest asset? I said, it's easy, it's employees. He goes, wrong. I'm like, wait, what? 100 people in the room, no one answers it right. And finally he goes, it's customers. Like, you're all idiots. And I sat there like, really? Like, wow. I went down to his office, I said, we built this company based on employees. 14 years I was there, top of the mark. And I said, something's changed because customers can go anywhere, they're fickle. The only way we get ahead is with our employees, our associates. They are the heroes. And I said, I'm out in 2 weeks. And I called the local radio station and said, I'm out of here at 5 o'clock on Wednesday. I want you to play Kathy Mattea's Walking Away a Winner. And he went out to all the stores and he goes, yeah, this is for Bob, Walking Away a Winner. Because I said, I will never work with people that don't believe people matter. Now, one more thing I want you to think about now is as you're looking to grow your business, one of the things that's really important is how do you talk to these people? Yes, we have all kinds of tools, AI, video. Video is everything. They're saying right now that they think 90% of Facebook in the next 5 years will be all AI generated. And if that's the case, you will kill social media if it's all fake. So that's the easy way to combat that is plan to make one 60-second video in your store of one new item you got in. Could be unboxing, could be a customer story, could be something behind the scenes, but just hold yourself. Maybe it's going to be a slow day on a Wednesday, and you just say, I'm going to make this. Do the best you can. It might have quick cuts. It might be a little ragged. You might be like, oh, I coughed there. I shouldn't have done that. It's fine. I mean, you're still watching me. Make sure that you just talk to these people because you know them so well. And if you're on your floor, you know them. If you don't feel comfortable knowing well enough, your managers are the ones who know everything, then get them on the camera. But find a way to say what's special about shopping with you because people want to discover human beings when they buy. Because there's always two stories. I don't know if you followed me during COVID, but I had a live broadcast every day for 6 months. And I would go through one item I bought in my closet and talk about how I bought it because there are always two stories when you buy a product. There's one about the product itself. Yeah, it does this and this and this. It was really wonderful. But there should be the story about the person you bought it from, that connection you had last night. I had dinner last night at a restaurant, and I'm in a hoodie, and as the server comes up, he goes, "Oh, good evening," and I said, "Good evening," and he goes, "I'm trying to read your shirt," and I said, "Oh, it's a French brand." He goes, "Oh, that's my bucket list. I want to go to France. How can I make your evening better? Should we start with a drink?" I'm like, "Dude, you had me at hello. Hero. That's what we're talking about." And how could I leave out metrics? Metrics are the soul of retail. So what's your average check? How much you sell per sale? Conversion rate, if you know it, which means you have to have a door counter of some kind. I use DOOR, D-O-R, which can go to most of your POS so you know your conversion rate. Most of you think your conversion rate of people walking in and out, oh, we sell 90% of them. You're lucky if you're in 15. Big boxes try to go to 20. And then you also want to look at UPT, units per transaction. That means how many items went out on the average. Now, if you really want to drill down to it, you data nerd analyticals, which I would love to be, but don't have the patience for, I would see what is it for each of my employees. Because if Ken's UPT is 4 and Tony's is 1, do I want Ken to be on the floor or do I want him in the back pricing things? Well, he's the assistant manager. No, I never want him to be back there. You earn the right to be on the sales floor by getting up there. Another thing to be thinking about for each of your employees is how are they talking to their customers? We used to call it clienteling. There's different ways, you have their file of what they bought. AI can help you a lot with that. Whether you're going to use ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever you've got, just write whatever you want or talk to the computer, however you want, and say, please structure this in my voice so that it sounds like them, and then make a few edits. Because that's what a lot of people don't realize is that you have to have the idea and then it can make it better. So you don't have to worry about saying, oh, well, we just say the same thing to everybody. No, I want it to be personalized. And then as you're going through and you're thinking about it, explore potential strategic relationships with other businesses. I know that on one street in Long Beach, California was Barbie Day. It was the anniversary of when it launched it from Mattel. And so they had Barbie dolls, of course. They had the travel agent who had a Barbie theme you could go to where one of the fun homes was. They had Barbie Cosmos that were at the local restaurant. And every retailer came up with something that tied Barbie together. And then they sold that day Barbie and sent out to their individual lists. It was an amazing day for everybody. And they had people come out and it was different. Don't keep thinking I have to discount my way to sales. Because if you look at the numbers, you have to sell so much more just to get back to where you were that oftentimes it just doesn't make sense. And you've watched this far, so I know you're really interested in it. I've got something special for you. Brilliant on the Basics. It's 5 emails. It gives you 5 of my best ideas of how to grow your sales. It's not a sales pitch, but if you follow it, you will write me and say, wow, that was easy. And that's the whole point, right? That when I go into a store and I buy something, it's easy. And more importantly, when I am managing a store, I'm being brilliant on the basics. Get that free resource, absolutely free, in the description. Yeah, right now. Yeah, you. What are you waiting for? That's it. All right. Okay, so I get it. That video is just a little bit long. If you want to dive in a little bit deeper, I've got another video for you. It's up on the screen, or you can find the link down below. See you there.